Now we have discussed the Young's experiment. Okay. Now in Young's experiment we will obtain the distance between two consecutive bright fringes and two consecutive dark fringes. Now see, we have derived this formula. Okay, xd upon d, xd upon d is equal to n lambda for the constructive interference. Now for nth fringe you write say xn. Then xn d upon capital D is n lambda, where small d is the distance between s1 and s2, or we can say s1 s2 distance is denoted by small d. Capital D is the distance of screen. Okay, here lambda is the wavelength of light utilized. Okay, so this formula we have already discussed and derived. Now if you make xn as a subject of formula in it, then you will get this particular equation, that is xn is equal to n lambda capital D upon small d. Now for n plus 1th fringe, instead of this n we have to write n plus 1. So the distance of n plus 1th order bright fringe you will get from central fringe, and that will be xn plus 1 is equal to n plus 1 lambda d upon small d. Now if you take the difference between xn plus 1 and xn, then xn plus 1 minus xn will give you the distance between two consecutive bright fringes, and it can be easily shown that n plus 1 lambda capital D upon small d minus n lambda capital D upon small d will result in lambda d upon small d, or lambda capital D upon small d. Beta is utilized as a symbol for the distance between consecutive fringes. Okay, now for the dark fringe, this xn is taken as xn prime. Okay, it is 2n plus 1 lambda capital D upon 2d, and if you take the n plus 1 the dark fringe, then instead of this n we have to write n plus 1. Okay, so xn plus 1 prime will be 2n plus 1, 2 into n plus 1 plus 1 lambda capital D upon 2 times small d. Now if you take again xn plus 1 prime minus xn prime difference, okay, this can be easily simplified. It can be 2n plus 2 plus 1, so it becomes 2n plus 3. Okay, so it becomes 2n plus 3 lambda capital D upon 2d. Now distance between consecutive dark is x prime n plus 1 minus xn prime, and you use these two values. Okay, this is xn plus 1 prime and the other one is xn prime here. Okay, then use them in this equation and simplify, you will get the same answer as you have got for the distance between two consecutive bright fringes. So we can say that these fringes are having the same distance, rather it is whether it is consecutive bright or consecutive dark. Okay, now we shall discuss about diffraction. It's a new phenomenon. What is diffraction? Who discovered? What kind of diffraction phenomena occurs in waves? Okay, primary concept of diffraction is explained here. The phenomenon of waves around the opaque, rather obstacle, is called the diffraction, or whenever obstacles are coming in between the propagation of waves, then whatever phenomenon is observed at the edge of the obstacle, okay, then this phenomenon is a diffraction, and slightly the waves will bend from the edge of the obstacle, and this bending is in general layman's understanding, this bending of wave is called the diffraction. Now, diffraction is the physical effect produced by the limited part of the wavefront. This is its understanding. Diffraction was first discovered by the scientist Grimaldi. Diffraction phenomenon occur in sound waves, light waves, water waves, or matter waves. So diffraction is seen in all these types of waves. Diffraction depends on the wavelength of light or wavelength of wave, lambda, and the width of the slit from which they are passing. So this is very important. The diffraction is depending upon the wavelength and the width of the slit from which they are passing. The ratio lambda upon d, that is wavelength to the width of the slit, is also very important. More the ratio of lambda upon d, more the bending or more the diffraction. Due to diffraction phenomenon that occurs simultaneously in the dark and bright area near the geometric shadow of opaque objects, our eyes or optical devices such as telescope and microscope can see these phenomena, having very good resolving power. The colors appearing on the CD compact disc are actually due to diffraction effect. You must have seen the rainbow colors on the CD. The true understanding of diffraction can only be explained by the water or other wave theory. Wave theory is the theory by which you can explain the understanding of diffraction. There are two types of diffraction. They are obtained from the waves that incident on the slit. If the spherical wavefront incident on the slit, then the diffraction called the Fresnel diffraction. And if the plane wavefront is incident on the slit, then the diffraction is called the Fraunhofer diffraction. So there are two types of diffractions, Fresnel diffraction and Fraunhofer diffraction. We are concerned with the Fraunhofer diffraction. Now there is one understanding of this ratio lambda upon d. The person standing behind the open door inside the room can hear the voice of the person standing on the other side of the door, but they cannot see each other. This we have observed in our day-to-day life, that the voice of the person can be heard from if the person is outside the room on the other side of the door, but you cannot see the person. Now see, take the average wavelength of visible light. Visible light is having the wavelength between say 4 to 8,000 angstrom, or 4 into 10 raised to minus 7 to 8 into 10 raised to minus 7 meter. And if you take the average of this, 4 and 8, 12, 12 by 2, 6. So 6 into 10 raised to minus 7 meter can be the average wavelength of the visible light. And width of our window or door is say 1 meter. The width of say door is 1 meter. So lambda upon d, if you find, then lambda is 6 into 10 raised to minus 7 upon 1. So the ratio will be 6 into 10 raised to minus 7. Because of its small value, the waves of light does not bend. Waves of light do not bend at the edge. That is, diffraction of light is very, very small or negligible, we can say. Now if you talk about the person's voice and its frequency and its wavelength, then the frequency of voice is about 100 Hz to 400 Hz. For the sake of simplicity, suppose the frequency of the sound wave is 330 Hz. 330 Hz. And velocity is 330 meter per second. Now lambda that is the wavelength can be found, that of the person's voice, to be about 1 meter. Try to understand this as nu and v. This is, as you know, that velocity is equal to nu into lambda. So lambda is equal to v upon nu, and it will be about 1 meter. So wavelength of the voice of the person or human being, say for example, that is about 1 meter, and width of the door or window is also 1 meter. So d, that is slit, we consider the door as a slit, then its width is 1 meter, and 1 upon 1, lambda is 1, d is 1, which is very large in comparison to this value. So we can say that there will be a diffraction of the sound waves, okay, and sound waves can be heard if the person is outside the room, okay. Now we talk about the diffraction by the single slit. Now this is the figure which is shown here, okay. There is a single slit, there is only a small gap which is kept in front of the source, okay. So this is the slit or a gap through which the light can pass. There is a convex lens which is kept here in the path between the source and the slit. Now, as shown in this figure, we are using the monochromatic source of light. Now, what is monochromatic source of light? The light which is having only one wavelength, single wavelength, is called the monochromatic source of light, okay, at the center of convex lens we are keeping. The waves coming out from this are parallel and get plane wavefront that occurs, or rather it falls on this slit, that is Ln. So we are keeping here the source, say, at the focus. So the rays which are incident on the convex lens, after refraction they become parallel, and we get a plane wavefront, that of the waves which are coming out from the lens. Now according to Huygens principle, every particle on plane wavefront on the slit behaves as an independent secondary source and emit by itself secondary spherical waves which exist on the slit. Okay, so the rays will come out from the different particles or different points on the lens. Okay, as a result, bright and dark points are obtained on the screen. So if you are keeping the screen here somewhere, then on the screen you will have bright and dark points. Here there will be a brightest point at the center, then there will be a dark point, okay, then again there will be a bright point. This way alternately bright and dark points are seen. At the center of the screen you get the maximum intensity, okay, and as you are going away from the center, then the intensity of these bright spots are gradually decreasing, okay. Now we talk about the central maximum. Central maximum means the point at which we get the maximum intensity. Now if you consider the width of the slit as Ln, and this Ln is taken as width is equal to A, and if the point C on the screen placed at the distance capital D from the slit Ln. So this width of the slit is taken as A, and the screen is kept at distance capital D from the slit, okay. Now the path difference of the waves emerging from all the particles on the slit is zero. There will be a zero path difference when the rays which are coming from the slit are reaching at the screen, and at this point, that is at the center of the screen, as path difference is 0, so there will be a constructive interference and you will have a maximum intensity and there will be a bright spot. Okay, for the condition for the central maxima, we can say if the rays are not bending, or we can say the rays which are reaching at this particular point, that is center of the screen. Okay, as rays are not bending, we take theta is equal to 0. So at theta is equal to 0 from the central point of the slit, okay, from the central point of the slit, if you take the angle, then this theta is very small, about 0. You get the maximum intensity of light, which is called the central maximum, which is obtained on the screen. Now if you want to calculate the path difference, suppose the interference at point P on the screen, this point makes an angle theta with CM. Now if you take the triangle NQL, where Ln is A, okay, and path difference will be NP minus LP, and NLQ is theta. See, you can see here NLQ, that angle is shown as theta. Okay, so sin theta can be obtained as NQ upon Ln. So if you take the sin theta as this is Ln, if you consider the midpoint as the point which is obtained here, so L and this is N, so sin theta will be NQ upon Ln, that is opposite upon hypotenuse. So sin theta you will get as NQ upon Ln, and therefore NQ will be Ln sin theta, and path difference will be NP minus LP, that is A sin theta. So path difference we got, that is A sin theta. If that path difference is lambda or 2 lambda or 3 lambda, then the spot will be bright and you will get the constructive interference. Okay, so in general, if the path difference we can say as n lambda, then there will be what do you call it, that will be a dark spot. Okay, try to understand here. After the bright spot there will be a dark spot. If this is a bright spot, then after that bright spot there will be a dark spot. Okay, if you take sin theta, then sin theta is opposite upon hypotenuse. Okay, so that will be equal to sin theta is equal to, say, this point. So if you try to understand this figure, then this point, okay, this point or this triangle is taken, this point is N, this point is Q, and this point is taken as L. Now sin theta will be equal to NQ upon Ln. So NQ will be equal to A sin theta. Okay, so we are having NQ is equal to A sin theta, which is explained here. Okay, so path difference, which is NQ, is nothing but the value that is A sin theta. Okay, if this path difference is A sin theta is equal to A lambda, okay, then the angle is formed, say, theta 1. Okay, so we will get the first minimum. If the path difference is 2 lambda, then A sin theta 2 will be 2 lambda, and you will get second minimum. In general, we can say that if sin A sin theta is equal to n lambda, okay, then there will be a nth minimum, and you will get, as theta is very small, we can say theta n is equal to n lambda upon a. Now for maxima, okay, now the other point is taken, next point is taken at the another, say for example this is minimum. Now this becomes maximum again. Now again the path difference is found, and if this path difference is 3 lambda by 2, 5 lambda by 2, okay, so you will get the maxima, or we can say in general a sin theta n prime is equal to n plus 1 lambda n plus 1 by 2 lambda. Then you will get the different maxima, or we can say 2n plus 1 lambda by 2, simplify it, where n is 1, 2, 3 up to n, then you will get different maxima. And if a sin theta prime is equal to 2n plus 1 lambda by 2, okay, and theta n is taken as sin theta n is equal to theta n, as theta n is very small, we will get theta n prime to be 2n plus 1 lambda upon 2a. Okay, try to see this video 2-3 times, keep the textbook in front of you. Okay, thank you very much. Okay.